Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. April 3rd. It's a new month, a new quarter, new week, all falling down today. So time to start fresh with your trading. Ignore that disgusting price action we've had the last couple months, and we're going to move forward. Looking at today's economic events, we have ISM manufacturing PMI at 10 a.m. And that's it. China has another bank holiday. I feel like China's always on a bank holiday. Collector FX. Good morning, my friends. Good morning. Good morning. Big respect for you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Alrighty, let's move on into the analysis. Smash the markets. You already know we're going to kill the markets today, this week, the rest of the year. Yeah, I've already decided that we're going to kill the markets. Watch AUD Chev. I'll look at that in a second. I'm going to go through my analysis first of the morning, and then we'll kind of hop on into any questions you guys have. So looking first at the dollar. Sitting right on top of the bullish pivot point here at 102 to 101.5. Previous heavy area of support and resistance. So as long as the dollar remains above this zone, then I'm looking for a bullish price action, looking for buys in the dollar. However, if you look at the weekly chart, the higher time frame, the monthly chart, we are sitting here at a potential triple bottom. However, it's looking pretty heavy, looking pretty weak here. We don't know yet if this was a lower high to then continue down, or if it was just, or if we're going to create a double bottom, triple bottom here to then continue higher. So we will see. However, looking at the dollar for the day, broke through these highs, came back, retracements right around the 61.8% retracement. We're in this previous area that we've seen buying coming before. So this is an area I'd want to see the dollar hold if we want to look for some bullish price action today. Prior area of support where we've seen some buying pressure come into play. So I'd want to see the buys come into play here at this 102.4. Pretty steep sell-off from the highs here, though. So a lot of bearish momentum. So we'll just have to see if it holds here before we start leaking back down towards lows. But remember, the dollar doesn't have much weight in the markets right now. So I just still analyze it just to know what it's doing. But it doesn't play too much of a factor into my trading at the moment. Moving on to equities. Daily chart on US30. Pushing slightly bullish. Heading to this 33,500 level, which is the 50% area of this consolidation here. And I talked about it on my Sunday analysis video. There's one of two things that'll happen. Since we broke through this consolidation here, if we get that continuation, we like to fake out the sellers, run back up towards the 50% mark of this consolidation, and then we continue the dump. So that's one idea you could consider. Another would be this was a fake out and we're back in this range, and so we're going to then retest the 50% to then continue back up towards these highs. But regardless, I'm playing off of this level here. It is obviously, the clear pivot point in this range. So looking at US30, sitting above highs, heading towards this area of resistance. So I'd like to sell off the 50% level. I'm not sure, I don't trade US30 or indices until at least like I'll probably wait till at least like 9, towards 9 o'clock at least, right around like 8:45 maybe, depending on the setup. However, we'll just have to see where it's at. You know, do we come back below these highs? And do we retest and look for sells? Do we continue higher, create structure, break, retest, and then sell? Right? So regardless, I'm going to be looking for structure of form here, whether it's lower high, break the retest, you know, here, sell, or we break back through these highs, we retest and then sell. So whatever it is, I'm going to be looking for some type of sells, because the range isn't there for buys because we have resistance just north of price action here, and we have pretty clean price action for sells. But however, because we are selling into a very, very heavy bullish price action here, I have to see structure form as far as, okay, we're breaking some lows, like we're breaking some lows here, retesting the lows, and then we're, you know, selling off. I have to see bearish price action. US 500 S&P is sitting in the middle of this range here. We have resistance sitting at 4160, support sitting at 4080. So clearly this range has been just an area of consolidation prior in February, and then also in June of last year. This is a prior area of consolidation. So what you can expect for the S&P is to bounce around in this range really until it decides on the direction up or down. And so looking at the 4-hour chart, seems like we're already finding some support in this same range, right above 4080, 4090. So it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. Let's see what the 50% area is, because the Dow's potentially looking for sells, but the S&P, you know, we have some range for sells. I mean, you could see sells potentially back down towards 4075. Which is an area that we've seen still respect in this prior consolidation area. So if we do get the indices sell off, then you'll probably see some kind of move back down to 4070 area. However, I think that sells on the Dow make more sense than S&P, and so if the S&P sell, you know, I'm going to take the sells on that. However, if we're looking for longs on the S&P make more sense than they do on the Dow. We have range up until 4130 for the longs. And again, you'll want to see excuse me. You'll want to see some type of, you know, break and retest bullish price action towards 4130 if we're going to take the longs. We are creating these higher lows. So potentially, if we do break these lows, you could look for a break, retest, and sell back down to 4070. So that could be an idea as well. But again, I don't trade indices until at least 8:45, 9 o'clock. So a lot could happen. We'll just have to reanalyze and see where they're at. Looking at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ came up and rejected this August pivot point here. We're now in bullish price. So this has been clearly the leader in the indices. We've been creating these higher lows. We were wedging right up into this 12,800 zone, and we just broke out. Pretty strong breakout, right? Now we're coming back up to retest this August pivot point, this 13,200. So I like actually that NASDAQ sells to retest 12,850 for then a pump back up towards 13,600. So let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart has some range. 1-hour chart. 1-hour chart's looking a lot weaker than everything else. So I don't know yet whether we come up and fill this gap and then maybe sell off, or if we just completely break through, you know, these lows and we just see a straight sell off here. Pretty clean price action for sells as well. But again, it's super early. So I do want to see if we do fill this gap first, have another double retest, lower high, and then we sell off. This would be the ideal scenario. Then we'll look for some break a low price action, you know, bearish price action to then take sells. And I would definitely consider them. So we'll see. It seems like preferably we see some sells in indices today, but overall in the higher time frame, we're looking for longs going forward. Just today, I think sells are setting up a little better than buys given where everything's sitting. Let's take a look at gold. So again, gold, I talked about this on my Sunday analysis. It's creating this price action that just seems like it wants to squeeze through 2000. I've seen it often where we have this very strong break and close above a resistance, and now we see a wick here, small body candle, a higher wick here, small body candle, a higher wick here. That seems like it's just going to then, do something like this and go straight up. So this is something I've seen often, and we're wedging and consolidating right below 2000, right below these major area of rejection points. Daily chart consolidating right above this prior breakout of February. Higher low, higher low, higher low. Then we're looking for then something like this, right? So 4-hour chart came down, retested this area. Nice bullish engulfing. Hourly chart. So I'm definitely looking for buys on gold. All right, let's see. Yeah, definitely looking for buys on gold here. We broke through / retested this trend line last night, came back above. So I wanted to see some type of retest and rally higher. We did get a nice bullish price action since London Open. So let's take a look at the lower time frames, maybe the 30-minute. Ideally, what we see is getting pretty extended, almost overbought here, extended from VWAP, extended from the EMA. So what I want to see is a retest. I'd be willing to consider longs right around this 1965, 1966. Get something like this, and then a rally back up towards 1982. This rejection area, the trend line rejection. This is something I'd like to see. However, it's already pushing it's pretty extreme, pretty strong already, so maybe we don't get it. But what I've noticed is when you have very strong bullish price action, I mean, it's all bullish candles, and you have one bearish candle right here. That's typically an area that you see as a retest point or support in this case. So I'd want to see it come back down and retest that one bearish candle, and then we'll get a nice rally off of that. If it doesn't, if price already comes up to 1982 before retest, then it's buys are no longer in play for me because it's already completed the entire move. I wouldn't really want to see it go up much more than where it's at. I'd want to see it reject this area, this 1973, come back down to retest 1967, and then we get that breakthrough. So this is something I'm going to look for. Maybe come around that moving average. So yeah, we'll see. That's the only idea I have. As far as sells, if we end up coming to 1984 before we get that pullback and we just go straight up from here, then maybe I'll look for sells, but it would have to be like in a high volume time, and we'd have to see some type of double top break of structure here, and then we'll look for the sells after it breaks this low. So I would consider that if we got up towards 1983 without retesting. But that's the only case I'd look for sells because we're looking pretty bullish right now. Oil had a massive gap overnight. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever seen a gap this big in oil in all of the years I've been trading it. Like, I mean, that's just a massive, that's a massive gap, like massive gap. Like it went from 75 up to 81. if those of you don't know, is based off of OPEC news. They are doing a cut starting May all the way until the end of the year, which is pretty big. It did gap up back up to this resistance here. So naturally, I look for sells to fill that gap and come back down to the support. We're now back in this consolidation range on the daily chart. And so now that we're back in this range, you got to play it as a range, right? Until it confirms a break. I'll be playing off the range, so you'll play off of 74, play off of 82. 4-hour chart. Nice sell off here, so we're getting a little bit of a retracement. So I'd expect something like this, some kind of dead cat bounce, lower high, and then sell off to fill this gap. I would expect this to start pulling back at least to 78. I mean, 78 is the 50% point of this consolidation, and it's also been a prior area, of resistance and support and the pivot points in here. So this zone in here around 78 has been the area of rejection, right? So last time we sold off from this area, you can look at it right here, came down to 78. Right here, 78, so 78 is that's what I'm going to look for, is a push down to 78. I wouldn't anticipate that it's going to fill the gap because it doesn't have to. It's very bullish. However, I would expect a little bit more of a sell-off down towards 78. So, do I want to buy up here? Hell no. I mean, I'm not going to buy this massive gap because it's just staring at me right in front of the face, at least not on day one. Now, look, if it gaps and it's just consolidating up here and then we decide to break and retest, then I'll play the longs because it doesn't have to fill. However, I'm not going to take these longs because we're sitting at resistance as well with this massive gap in front of us. So, oil, I don't think I'm going to trade it today, but what you'll probably see is some type of, rejection, double top, lower high for a push down. Pound yen. All right, pound yen. Daily charts running into some resistance here. Prior rejection point. Filled this move. Another big rejection point. Friday rejection point as well. So, hopping down to the 4-hour. 4-hour had some pretty extreme bullish price action. We now pulled back slightly, coming back up to retest this resistance. So now is it a potential double top to roll over? Or is it something where it's okay, we're just bullish and we just break through and continue higher? We don't know yet. Looking at the 1-hour chart. So the way I'm going to play this, looking at is, since we don't know yet if it's going to stay in this range here and then continue bullish, or if it's going to go bearish, I'm going to wait for some type of double top confirmation. So what I want to see on the maybe the 15-minute is something like break through some lows, retest, and then sell off, right? So I'll look for a breakthrough, these lows, maybe retest VWAP area, give us a lower high, retest the structure point, and then we'll look for that sell at that retest point for a push down. This is the only idea I have really for pound yen, is some type of sell confirmation. Maybe ideally we sell with off resistance below the open of the week. Longs wouldn't be in play unless we could close above these highs here, maybe retest and run from there, run back up towards 166 would be the area of interest for the longs. If we're looking for shorts, I'll probably look for somewhere right around 163. Yeah, it's been a pretty strong pivot point looking at it. So depending on, so we'll see where if we can grab sells. Keep in mind that we still are looking pretty bullish on the higher time frames. Weekly chart closed. Get rid of this line. Weekly chart closed very bullish off of this higher low retest, closed bullish engulfing the last 3 weeks with a nice wick / range to fill. So looking for that bullish continuation based off the weekly chart. However, I'm just looking for that pullback today off of this resistance. So we'll see. If the dollar can hold this area here for buys, Euro USD sells look decent, right? I mean, if you look at the 30-minute kind of zoomed out, you have this triple top sitting at 1.09200. We have this trend line that we've been pushing with higher lows back from March 15th. We just broke through prior lows, right? Had our nice Fibonacci retracement. We're now sitting right around the 61.8% retracement. And we're also sitting at this prior structure point. So this is a decent area to take sells off of. You know, stop off the high, look for a push down towards, you know, these lows area, something like this. You'd rather 3-1. I'm not trading it, but I saw it this morning and I thought it looked decent. I thought I'd bring it up on the stream. I'm cutting back on the amount of currencies I'm trading at the moment. But that looks decent. Pound USD kind of has the same setup as well. So really you'd want to see a bullish dollar if you can get these setups to come into play. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. Euro JPY sells look decent, but they're going to play right in line with pound yen, so you don't want to double dip here. But these could maybe be a potentially better sells than pound yen. Keep an eye on Euro JPY. Okay, wow, this one looks like a heartbeat. But that's about it, guys. So I forgot AUD Chev. Let me look at that real quick. All right, remove drawings. Start on the monthly chart. Monthly chart closed bearish below this range here. So naturally, what you're getting is the first trading day of the month. You're getting a retracement to then potentially continue its sell-off. Weekly chart consolidating right below these lows here. So as long as the weekly chart remains below this 6,200 even, then I'm looking for sells off of this resistance. Going into the daily chart. So you've seen this price action before where you get this sell-off, really strong bullish candlestick, sell-off, really strong bullish candlestick. So, you know, it's the first of the month, first of the quarter. I wouldn't say, hey, today's extremely bullish, we're going to continue bullish. It's just more or less a bounce trade from this, you know, pretty extreme sell-off. Monthly charts looking pretty bearish. So I'd probably look for sells. See where we're sitting here. We're sitting right at this trend line here as well. So as long as we're below this 62,500 area, then I like the sells. However, you know, today we're obviously pushing bullish. So for, you know, buys, I mean, we've already missed it. There's no way you can catch buys on this thing anymore. So there's no way you could catch anything on this trade today. But I'd say just see how it reacts to this trend line. See how it reacts to 62.5. And then, you know, you can formulate a bias from there, because this is going to be the area to keep an eye on for whether we're bullish or bearish going forward. The thing that's sticking out like a sore thumb is the monthly chart closed pretty strong as a bearish candlestick below this consolidation. So looking pretty heavy. But that's it. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to hop off and trade on Zoom with my guys. Have a great rest of your trading day, guys. And yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow morning. Same time, 7 o'clock. Remember, if you're looking to trade live with us, VantTradingForex.com. You know where to find us. Peace.